What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of U4 Trigun Stargaze. This is episode 4, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. So of course we found as of last week we know what happened to Knives. His body's like last time we saw him in the last episode, he was just basically just a brain. But we find out that the people working under him have been stealing plants ever since the season started. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're sacrificing the plants and grafting, I guess, the parts into Knives so he can regenerate his entire body.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically we see, what was it, Legato Blue Summers and this other guy, which I don't remember. Have we even seen this guy up until now? I don't even remember if we saw him or not.
I completely forgot.
I don't know. So
I think his name is Mid Valley. He
yeah.
pretty much carries like a saxophone, which turns into like a weapon, like which when he plays it, he like it unleashes like this blade of sound, which cuts a person's body parts off.
Yeah, so basically Legato Blue Summers and yeah, Mid Valley are going around these different settlements and killing everybody there and stealing all the plants so that they can graft it onto knives and rebuild him. There's a pretty brutal scene too, like at the beginning. I think at the beginning of the episode where, like Legato Blue Summers is just takes all these people and, like like just takes all of them and just like tries to fit them all into
bodies.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not trying to fit them all. He's just basically just cramming.
Yeah, like stuffs them all into a tank, or and just they all like just blow up inside the tank or the truck, and just like the blood comes pouring out of it. There's also one guy that tries to get a shot off on Legato Blue Summers, but Mid Valley spots him and uses his the horn and just, I guess, like, we kind of see how that works. I guess it has because of the it unleashes some kind of like
a sound
like sound wave, and it just like cuts off his head.
I mean, speaking of Mid Valley, he seems to be like a bit more on the reluctant side of working with these people.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's kind of interesting that he's kind of hesitant about actually like working with them and what they're doing, I guess. Like, so I'm sure they'll come up later. Like maybe Vash will try to convince him to switch sides or something.
Yeah, and of course, with Knives' recovery taking longer than expected, they all decide that they should steal all the plants in Ship 3, which is where, of course, Vash and the others are currently staying at. So Legato and the others are going to end up infiltrating that ship to steal all of the plants. And also they need to capture Vash because he is needed to, I guess, to revive Knives once he regenerates his entire body.
Yeah. So basically, like, a majority of the episode is kind of like a reunion with the reunion with Vash, Millie and Meryl, and Wolfwood, and also I guess Jessica, but it was something I noticed too. Like, I don't know if you picked up on this, but I don't know if maybe something it was gone over at least a little bit in Stampede, but in the original series, like, Wolfwood is. He's like a priest, right? Like, he wears like that cross around his neck, and he kind of like is a big aspect of his character. But I've noticed, like, in Stargaze, or I don't know if it was also true in Stampede, but they don't really touch on that aspect of his character much at all, if they even do it.
I mean, he's not really technically a priest. I mean,
he's very religious. Like, in the original series, he was. But in the new one, like, I don't know if they really go over that. Like, he has the cross gun, but I don't think he actually wears the cross around his neck. And I don't really think he like quotes scripture or anything.
The way they portrayed him in this show is like, well, he did try to, like when he was trying to do like a eulogy for like, for a couple people that ended up dying. He tries, well, he does a very bad job of like reciting parts of the Bible or whatever it is. Like,
I mean, obviously the thing with him is like, he's not like he's kind of like a, sort of kind of, he's not like the most pious individual. Like, he's obviously not really adherent to all the religious practices and all that. He's kind of like plays fast and loose with it. But
Yeah,
that was still like a major part of his character, and I feel like they kind of don't really touch on that much in the new
yeah.
series.
And another thing about Wolfwood is like we do remember back in the original series that Wolfwood and Millie do have somewhat of a relationship, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I look at this episode and just like I think they're trying to do that, but it's not really clear if they're really
Well,
trying to go over that.
it's really, you can't really tell in the episode anyway, because there's not really any like direct interaction, I don't think, between him and Millie. Uh, there's not really any scenes where they're just like talking one on one or anything. Um,
Yeah,
so I'm not really sure what direction they're gonna go with him and Millie. And I mean, I would hope that like they go a similar direction where, with how what they did in the original series with him and Millie. But I mean, I won't really spoil that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, considering they are changing a lot of things, I don't know. I mean, it could be that what ends up happening to Wolfwood in the original series maybe just doesn't even happen, or what happens with him and Millie doesn't happen. So who knows? I mean, they've already. I feel like they've already kind of changed Wolfwood's character quite a bit. Um,
yeah, and I don't know. In terms of Millie being in the show, it's just, I feel like she hasn't really played much of a role uh,
yeah,
ever since she arrived in this season, because we do know she played a major role back in the original series, but now that she gets thrown into the show like literally just right now, and like we haven't seen her do much of anything else besides helping out Meryl at times. Um,
yeah. Well, the other aspect I do want to bring up too with the original series is they had the alongside Legato Blue Summers, he was only like one of the like, I forget what I know they had like a proper name, like the different outlaws, I guess, that were working under Knives, that were going, that they were going to go after Vash. But here I think so far, like we've seen obviously like Legato Blue Summers, we've seen this guy in Mid Valley, which I don't know if he's a manga character, if he is just an original character. But we haven't seen any other like major like antagonist. Maybe Zazie the Beat, I don't know, but we haven't really seen any other like major antagonists that would actually be, at least from the original series, that were supposed to be like working for Knives. It's only like, I think a handful of them maybe have shown up. So I don't know. Like, that's another thing I'm wondering about, because
yeah,
I don't know if those villains have just been written out, or if they're just like, maybe they've only taken like a few of them and are repurposing them in the new series.
yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more. Hopefully by the next episode. But yeah, it just shows Vash and the others just catching up with one another. Uh, eating omelets and all of that other stuff, and then of course Vash having his prosthetic arm getting repaired, and having his getting a haircut. Uh, you know, for the first time since the season
Yeah.
started, by
Yeah, I
giving
mean,
him by giving him his his classic stand up, like spiky hair
this is another
appearance.
thing that confuses me as well, because I mean, as we know, in Stampede, he didn't have his original hairstyle. By the end of it, he did, and then by the beginning of Stargaze, he looks the way he does, and now he's got the original, well, something similar at least to the original hairstyle back. And I don't know where I heard it, but I remember like hearing that it was too complicated to animate him with his original hairstyle or something, but I call BS on that, because they literally have it here, and they had it in the end of the first season. So I don't really know. I don't know if that's, they just wanted to give him a different look. But it's just not really, obviously it's not going to be recognizable as Vash. He's just kind of going to look like, he doesn't even really look like Vash. I mean, now he kind of looks more like the original Vash.
Yeah, it's closer to his original incarnation now. With I mean, slightly shaven in some certain areas, but yeah, it's a little bit better than like his whole his whole hairstyle, like that's what was it? It's a little bit
It's like,
curved
yeah, it's just
down.
like long hair covering like half of his face.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but yeah, he's definitely gonna have his his old classic appearance now in this season. Um, but yeah, by the end of the episode, like it looks like they're about to get company from from Vash's not Vash's Knives entourage. They're looking to raid Ship 3 and steal its plants. Of course, they know this because Mid Valley is playing the saxophone, and they can hear him coming.
Yeah,
I
and
think
then Wolfwood
I
goes
think
off to confront
yeah,
him.
yeah. I think Mid Valley is warning them on purpose because he knows, like, like he's not willing to go take part in like what Knives' entourage is doing by stealing all these plants and then like having it regenerate, having using them to regenerate his body. So I
Mhm.
think Mid Valleys is like intentionally warning the crew of Ship 3 on purpose so they can get ready to fight them later on.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, it was an okay episode. It was a little bit slower than the previous episodes. Because most of it was just Vash catching up with Wolfwood, Meryl, and well, I guess, and also being introduced to Millie. Um. But and I mean, like, we kind of got an interesting new character with Mid Valley. But and we learned, I guess, kind of what they're up to with trying to revive Knives. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it was okay. Not bad, not great. It was all right. Um, I just I still like the issues I have, with the series just remain. I mean, and I don't think it's gonna really get any better from here. They've already just like the pacing is kind of all over the place with the series. Like it's pretty rushed for the most part. Um, and I just don't think there's been any proper build up to a lot of the main confrontation with Knives, um, and as well as some of the other antagonists. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the episode, though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, it's it's a little bit on the okay side. I mean, I'm curious to see how they can handle the uh remainder of this show because this is technically the final season of the series, which kind of sucks because
Yeah,
it just felt I just feel like it's I don't know. Like you said, it
I
kind
feel
of
like the
ruins the
show
pacing
needed to
in a
be like
way.
two full seasons instead of two like what 12 to 13 episode seasons.
Yeah, it's just and just also the fact that like I've mentioned this before, like introducing Millie like this late into the show and not having her like as like one of the original characters, you know, in the first season rather than her being replaced by Roberto, who's an original character. So it's like I don't know. I just really felt like she could have added more had she been in the first season to begin with. Now,
Yeah,
like she's just like all of a sudden just being thrown in there now, interacting with characters that she's never met before, and plus, of course, that there's that dynamic between her and Wolfwood that we'll eventually
yeah.
see. I mean, hopefully they'll take they'll follow through on that, but it's
Well,
just my main concern is like they're gonna I don't
a-
know.
and I
They're
was
just
gonna
gonna
say,
wipe
like,
it under the
if
rug.
Millie was involved in season one, we could have had that dynamic and it could have developed, and by now. But because she wasn't in season one, now, like, if they are going to go that direction, they just don't have as much time to really develop their relationship
Yeah,
in any significant way.
yeah. So, yeah, I guess we'll get to see what's gonna happen in the next episode with with Vash and the others getting ready to fight against Knives Entourage heading their way.
Yeah, yeah, guys. But that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.